I raised a question on yesterday and the message, debt has a duty, about how many people wanted to come out of debt. I can't let that go. It's still on me. I still need to talk about that, teach that, and speak to that. So, to that end, that's what this morning's manna is all about. Float, float. You ever floated a check? It's kind of hard to do now. We're in this digital age, but you remember when you might have floated a check, whatever the case may be. We're talking about strategies to come out of debt, strategies to come out of debt. And it may very well be I might hang into this for the balance of the week because it's such a critical thing that we have to grab a hold of. And how about that? If that's what you want to hear is some strategies about coming out of debt, then raise your hand, put it in the chat area. Until then, let me just greet some folk and say good morning to some people. Happy Monday morning. Happy Monday morning. How are you on this morning? A little hell yesterday, and kind of, this looks like it's going to be a turbulent spring. But here is what I know to be the case. The last time this person was in office, there was a pandemic because the earth was groaning and moaning under the weight of the disruption of order and truth. And so I don't see very much of a difference right now. So Lord, let us hold on and see where it's going to take us here, and let's trust God because there's some moaning and groaning. But let me greet some folk. Good morning, Ella. How are you this morning? Good morning, Ramona. How are you on this morning? Good morning, Gerald. How are you? Arlene, how are you? Ramona, I'm not sure you were the first one on this. Don't look like it here. That might have been that's a new thing if you weren't. Good morning, Gerald. Good morning, Liz. Laura, how are you on this morning? Good morning, Brenda. How are you? Brother Nesbitt, how are you on this morning? Barbara, how are you? Vaughn, how are you on this morning? Minister Sent, how are you on this morning? Minister Sent, what did you think of the leadership of all of us coming together on our fellowship of Changing Lives Ministries? What did you think of all of us coming together? What did it seem to you? Did you get something out of the word? What was the vibe? Let me know. I want to just see whether or not this landing like I hope it would. Good morning, Elder Mobley. How are you? Good morning, Carolyn. How are you, Carolyn? I'm so glad to see you because I need tickets for Friday, and I need good tickets. And please don't disappoint, or I'm going to tell your sister if you disappoint. So please get me some tickets for Kev on stage at your church here. Good morning, Gloria. How are you? Pamela, how are you? Thelma, how are you? LaFawn, how are you? Valerie, how are you? Samara, how are you? Missed you on yesterday. Good morning, Linda. How are you? Patrice, how are you? Verena, how are you? Angela, how are you? Did you get your book yet? Get your book yet? I got to check with my team and make sure they sent. Oh, that's right. I got to sign it. That's right. You want me to sign it when I go to North Carolina? I'll do that. That's right. When I get there is another thing. Good morning, Lydia. How are you on this morning? Good morning, Pastor Leah. How are you on this morning? Pastor Richard, I haven't forgotten. I was very busy this weekend. I got you. I got you, bro. Don't. Pastor, I got you. Good morning, Vicky. How are you on this morning? Good morning, Jan. Elder Jan, how are you? Patrice, how are you on this morning? Strategies to come out of debt. How many of you want some strategies to come out of debt? Lenora, what about you? Jewel, how are you? Pastor Sherry, how are you? Tarsila, how are you on this morning? How are you? No, Brenda, you didn't beat Ramona. You got to get up early in the morning. In fact, you probably don't even need to go to sleep if you're going to beat Ramona on Morning Manna because she's always first. But I'm not sure she was first this morning. Good morning, Lottie. How are you on this morning? How many do I need? Is that the question, Carolyn? How many? What do you mean you'll check? It's two. And that needs to be a done deal. Good morning, Anna. How are you? Lottie, how are you? Lottie, Dottie, and everybody. That's what my coach used to say. Good morning, everybody, on this morning. And we got a word for you on this morning. So very wonderful. Great teaching on being an ambassador. That's right. Indeed. 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 Well, this morning, it's all about strategies to get out of debt. How many of you want to come out of debt? How many of you want to come out of debt? And so to that end, I need you or less. Here we go. We're back. 5 minutes or less. The text, the talk, the takeaway, 5 minutes or less. Here's the text. It's piggybacking on the message from Sunday because I can't let this go. I can't let this go. We really got to get this word in you. 2 Kings 6, 6 through 7. 2 Kings 6, 6 through 7, NIV translation. The man of God asked, where did it fall? Talking about the axe head. When he showed him the place, Elisha cut a stick and threw it there and made the iron float. Mm. Lift it out, he said. Then the man reached out his hand and took it. Let's talk about the text and then put it in context and then give you three things from the text and a takeaway. Debt doesn't just hurt your credit, it can choke your calling and the life out of living if you leave it unchecked. So here is in 2 Kings 6, the prophetic apprentice loses a borrowed axe head in the Jordan River while working to expand God's place and space in the earth. The work was connected to the Lord. Notice this, that wasn't just a small slip, it was a serious debt. It was $2,000 for an axe head, and the prophet doesn't have that kind of money. But God didn't let the story end at the bottom of the river. Through Elisha, God showed us what he still can do today. He meets us at the place of loss and gives us the strategy to recover. Hear me. Let's get the context of the text. This is not just about miracles, it's about a movement of God. God floated the iron, but the man still had to reach and lift it out. So it is with us having a strategy. And that's what Morning Manna is all about. Giving you a way out. Here's the three things that I really need you to grab a hold of. But before I do that, let me just remind you of this. Every time you understand that it's very serious about coming out of debt, you need a strategy. You need a strategy, something both spiritual and practical. Three things. First thing is this: revisit the place of loss. Revisit the place of loss. I'll say it again. Revisit the place of loss. Elisha asked, where did it fall? To get out of debt, start by identifying where you lost control. Was it in the mall? Was it online? Was it at Amazon? Was it at the club? Was it at the bar? Um, was it somebody borrowing more than you were willing to lend, but you lent it anyhow? Revisit where you lost control and it fell out. Look at your spending habits. Here's your strategy. Strategy number one: look at your spending habits, fear driven, chosen, and choices that you made. More often than not, what we do is that we buy stuff to impress people who don't really care about us anyhow. Spiritual clarity will help you get out of that. Here's the second thing I want you to grab a hold of. The second strategy that you need to move out of debt. Work while you wait on the wonder. Put it in the chat area. Work while you wait on the wonder of God. The prophets didn't sit in prayer circles. They grabbed poles and got to work. You must be willing to budget, cut back, and build up. You need to budget, cut back, and build up. Stack some money. Don't spend everything you have. Faith without a spreadsheet is dead. Can I say that again? Faith without a spreadsheet, a spending sheet. What I'm going to do with my money is dead. Here's the third thing I want you to grab a hold of. Trust the system of the kingdom. This is kingdom economics. Trust the system of the kingdom. When you return the tithe to God's place, the Malcolm that I talked about yesterday, the place of transition from one great thing to the next thing, the Malcolm, the place in which God gives divine instructions, the Malcolm, the place in which God moves mightily. When you return to God's place to tithe, you create room for Him to move in your finances. It's His 10%, not yours. Leave it alone. Don't break off that piece. You got 90 to deal with. What's your takeaway this morning? Your takeaway is this: debt is not your destiny. It's your doorway to discipline so that God can come in and float the miracle that you need. Debt is not your destiny. It's your miracle of where God can float of what you really need Him to do. I want you to check this out. I hope it shows. Let me say that. Let me show you again. This is how you need to hold on. Hold on with all your might. Hold on. I'll show you one more time. Hold on and watch Him bring you out of debt. Lord be with you today. May His face shine upon you and give you peace. This bless you, bless somebody else. Don't keep it to yourself. Share the manna. I'll see you tomorrow morning with more morning manna. God bless you. Bye now.